1500 Ways to Escape the Human Jungle, Part 3. Chapter 11. Learn to Live Your Own Free Life. A prisoner of war pondered the reason for his gloom and frustration. He saw that the reason was simple enough. The confinement prevented him from living his own life. Urged on by his dissatisfaction, he planned his escape, which succeeded. A feeling that one is not living a life of his own is a good and essential step toward living one's own life. Like that prisoner of war, our realization of self-imprisonment is intelligence in itself for making our escape. Stated differently, seeing our sorrows and confusions can lead to a dynamic decision, the decision to seek the way out of ourselves. Author Leo Tolstoy describes this valorous decision. There comes a time when, on the one hand, a vague awakening consciousness stirs the soul, the consciousness of the higher law, and the sufferings a man endures from the contradictions of life compel him to renounce the social order and to adopt the new. And this time has now arrived. What Tolstoy calls an awakening consciousness is a truly marvelous experience, open to all who welcome it. It is a well-known stage to everyone who has ever escaped the human jungle. Where others have succeeded, you can succeed. No one is denied. Allow the following instructions to awaken your consciousness. Let them lead you to the liberty known and enjoyed by others. Learn to live your own free life. 1001. What you really want is a life that is truly your own, which is what these teachings are all about. 1002. Do not feel guilty about wanting a life of your own, for your own real life is a totally unselfish life. 1003. Discover what it means to live your own life, and as a clue, it means to not accept society's values. 1004. Seek cosmic strength, for there is no way for human weakness to touch the truly strong individual. 1005. Permit no glittering attraction to lure you away from your supreme aim of self-knowledge. 1006. Let others tell you what is right, and you suffer from their being wrong, though you may not see it. 1007. Let your essence tell you what is right, and you will be right, and you will know it. 1008. You conquer the world by understanding it, and this idea is 1,000 times deeper than it appears. 1009. When people criticize you, they merely mean that you are not conforming to their particular nonsense. 1010. Imaginary duties and imaginary virtues never let us rest, so detect and dismiss them. 1011. Become aware that you are not now leading yourself through life, and you can learn to lead. 1012. The true artist is the one who has mastered the art of living in quiet competence with himself. 1013. Let these ideas show you what you really want and what you do not want. 1014. Be the one person in 1,000 who gives earnest thought as to why he is here on earth. 1015. If scared over the decision to choose the real life, just choose it, and fear will vanish. 1016. Stand up for yourself in the right way, which means to stand inside your own cosmic nature. 1017. Pay no attention when a weak world insists you must be part of its weakness. 1018. A person can have the temporary approval of his friends, or he can have his own life, but he cannot have both. 1019. To know that you must start interchange is already an excellent start. 1020. A positive experience is a negative experience handled consciously. Understand human nature. 1021. Seek facts about human nature, for you are at the mercy of every man or woman you fail to understand. 1022. Truth knows it is true. So when you become truth, you will have no more doubts about yourself. 1023. Be loyal to who you really are, and all questions about loyalty to others will be answered. 1024. Increase your inner wealth by increasing your wish to live your own life. 1025. The reason you can draw new wisdom from yourself is because it exists in the new areas being uncovered. 1026. Never permit the shallow lies of others to injure the profound life you must find. 1027. Since society is capable of producing only bad news, why not turn to the good news of your own essence? 1028. New ways appear just as swiftly as our realization that the old ways cannot do anything right. 1029. A tremendous secret is contained in the words, "Be your own world." 1030. It is up to us to understand truth, and not our task to try to make the truth understand us. 1031. Your internal scenery can remain fresh and green, regardless of a dry external world. 1032. Distress indicates a lack of mental clearness, and since clarity is possible, distress is unnecessary. 1033. Notice how people try to make you think about things you really want to ignore. Then ignore. 1034. Release and relief from internal chains are what these teachings are all about. 1035. Practice all day long at dropping negative impressions the moment they try to enter. 1036. The psychic enemy is personal negativity, which is conquered by self-knowledge. 1037. The true king of himself has no need whatever to have bowing subjects. 1038. Obey your own higher nature, and you will never need to obey the lower nature of another person. 1039. Develop the part of you which never consents to being intimidated by other people. 1040. Know that you need not please anyone or anything, but your own real nature. React for your own richness. 1041. Forget the right reaction for society and find the right reaction for you. 1042. Suspect that you may be responding from society instead of from yourself, and you will begin to respond rightly. 1043. Few people see that deliverance means self-deliverance, but those who see it will deliver themselves. 1044. We cease to stray from truth when finally realizing that truth is our very own and very wealthy original nature. 1045. Try to see that the room you now occupy is not the entire cosmic castle. 1046. One of the great cosmic medicines of the ages is, see yourself as you really are. 1047. You can spend all day in self-discovery, whether in field or factory or home. 1048. If you want strong leadership, be your own leader, for this is a power of your real nature. 1049. The majority is wrong, and the minority is wrong, for only cosmic truth is right. 1050. Relying on guidance from the outside is like trusting a tornado to carry you home. 1051. Everyone senses that the only person who can be strong for him is himself, and that clue is worth following. 1052. Your own rich resources will show you where to look, what to do, and how to do it. 1053. You may be presently captured by a negative feeling, but you are not its permanent slave. 1054. Do what is unpopular with your usual nature, and you will do what is right for your new nature. 1055. A chief duty of yours is to ignore the duties that other people insist you owe them. 1056. It may appear unkind to leave people with their own responsibilities, but it is a truly helpful act, for they can grow no other way. 1057. Seeing the folly of merely changing exterior locations can start refreshing inner change. 1058. There is no way to hurt the feelings of someone living with his true identity, with his cosmic self. 1059. The only proof of rightness is the rightness of your own real nature, which never needs to consult human opinion. 1060. Your own released light will guide you safely and accurately along your own trail. Conquer the world in a new way. 1061. Conquer your inner world, and you will see clearly that it was the only necessary conquest. 1062. At a certain point in your progress, you will see what it means to be your own teacher. 1063. When finally learning what it means to treat ourselves rightly, we have no concern over our treatment by others. 1064. The one way to live another life is to let these principles make you another person. 1065. Be attentive always to your own rightness, never being distracted by the wrongness of others. 1066. Remember that society's dangerous nonsense always disguises itself as something profound and necessary. 1067. Be like a tree so filled with nature's wisdom that it cares for its own growth, never interfering with other trees. 1068. One day you will see that the right part of you was right after all. 1069. The turning point can occur by seeing that we can deceive others, but never really deceive ourselves. 1070. You have your own life to lead, and that life is free from trembling before other people. 1071. You are not responsible for anyone who stubbornly chooses to ruin their own life. 1072. One way to remain a self-prisoner is to complain, "How come they get away with things I can't?" 1073. We must first see what we are really like, for that awareness is power for becoming who we really are. 1074. Can you think of anything more dreadful than to be tyrannized by the unreal parts of us which we fail to see? 1075. If you want a plan having a totally new kind of reward, plan to find your natural self. 1076. You can discover who you really are by bravely declining to be who you usually are. 1077. Learning to live your own life includes learning to say no to the neurotic demands of others. 1078. Never agree with the choice of millions of human beings who have chosen darkness while calling it light. 1079. The great goal is to understand life from yourself, not from what others have told you. 1080. You can have the opinions of your friends, or you can have the liberating facts, but you cannot have both. Build your cosmic castle. 1081. A teacher's work is to supply you with right construction materials with which you can build your own cosmic castle. 1082. Have no hesitation in seeing the trivial as trivial, for that invites the truly important. 1083. The only thing that maintains a wall between you and real riches is your belief in a wall. 1084. Never sacrifice a feeling of what is right in order to please wrong people. 1085. When spiritual facts are not accompanied by the erasing of egotism, we fall into imaginary spirituality. 1086. We gain what is truly our own by dropping wrong notions of what is our own. 1087. Quietly refuse to be intimidated by anyone who tries to threaten you in any way. 1088. Any voice that criticizes your wish to find your real nature is a false voice you should ignore. 1089. The louder the old nature objects to its dismissal, the faster it should be dismissed. 1090. Rightness resting in truth banishes anxiety over being right in the eyes of other people. 1091. Ignorance of self places us under negative influences, which are lifted only by self-insight. 1092. Observe the stumbling in other people as lessons for ending the stumbling in yourself. 1093. Stop the interference of wrong thoughts and watch your day unfold smoothly and directly. 1094. How delightful to realize that one need no longer be a burden to himself. 1095. Just as you might disconnect a noisy motor, right thinking disconnects you from the world's woes. 1096. Friends and fortunes may leave you, but it makes no difference to your new nature. 1097. The laws of your own original nature are perfect, having no strains nor contradictions. 1098. Release the right part of you, and it will instantly know right from wrong actions. 1099. Love what you are doing for your inner self, and watch how true riches accumulate. 1100. Each time you treasure these ideas, you reclaim a part of your own life. Chapter 12. Secret Plans for Escaping the Jungle. A traveler wanted to reach a distant country. His friends gave him dozens of maps, assuring him of their accuracy. But the maps turned out to be faulty after all, so the traveler wasted considerable time and energy in confused wandering. He finally realized what had to be done. Tossing the maps aside, he exclaimed, "Thank heavens, I now know a wrong road when I see one. Now I can find the right road for myself." No doubt you have often felt the same way in life. You probably sense the necessity for breaking away from everything you have been told about life in order to rely upon your own mental lamps. That is both a bold and a sensible feeling. You will always go right when you follow it. You will always go right because you will be following nothing but your own released essence, your own liberated light. Make an experiment as you cover the 100 points of this chapter. It consists simply of being aware of something. Be aware of how truth believes in you, has cheerful confidence in you, knows about your ability to win higher success. Falsehood can never do this, for it has no confidence in itself or in anything else. But truth can, and does, and sees you as finally victorious. So just see how aware you can be that truth is on your side. Now, what more could you want than that? Secret Plans for Escaping the Jungle. 1101. A simple wish to start fresh has power to cancel past mistakes and let you begin anew. 1102. Right submission is to submit to what is right within yourself, so seek this rightness. 1103. The true strength of an awakened man can be felt and appreciated only by those who are beginning to awaken. 1104. Hopelessness can either pretend it is not hopeless, or it can start to fade through use of these ideas. 1105. Our happy task is to be unlimited in the amount of help we can take from the limitless source. 1106. Something much higher than calculating our way through life is to have inner command of life. 1107. The unfamiliar is not an enemy to be feared, as many believe, but the door to freedom from fear. 1108. Develop a new kind of intensity, one that wants to go up, not against. 1109. Never forget that the vast majority of human beings have no interest at all in inner awakening. 1110. The success of a real spiritual group is measured by the number of people who do not come back. 1111. That rare person who really sees his betrayal by his own wrong ideas is ready to awaken. 1112. Yield to the part of you that sees the futility of clinging fearfully to incorrectness. 1113. Just as cunning aids a fox in escaping his pursuers, these lessons aid your escape from troubles. 1114. Real courage and humility are expressed in, maybe I have been all wrong up to now. 1115. It is needful to see that something is wrong, but not needful to condemn yourself for wrongness. 1116. Imagination insists it is reality, and you must emphatically insist it is not. 1117. When with human beings, remember that only a small part of their motives are visible. 1118. When having the courage to stop crying, what am I going to do? We will know exactly what to do. 1119. The only thing that really prevents us from being right is the false fear of being wrong. 1120. To think with a whole mind, we must first see our captivity by divided thoughts. Invite fresh health. 1121. When first seeing our need to escape the jungle, we feel a strange anxiety, but this passes, leaving us with fresh health. 1122. We seek truth rightly by recognizing and eliminating falsehood of every kind. 1123. We can always recognize human artificiality by its angry fear of getting exposed. 1124. Take shocks as signs of being in psychic sleep, then use them for self-awakening. 1125. Absorb the fact that you are not who you imagine you are, and it will carry you all the way out of the jungle. 1126. Wishing to see higher facts without effort is like wanting to travel without movement. 1127. Resolve today to go all out in breaking down and traveling beyond the inner wall. 1128. Write down and remember helpful words such as quietness, study, receptivity, alertness, simplicity. 1129. Truth declares that a new you is possible, so why hesitate in the inner quest? 1130. The assumption that you are doing the best you can do prevents you from doing much better. 1131. An awakened person is not hoaxed by evil as are others, which is why he alone can help others. 1132. The sternness of man is fear masquerading as strength, while the sternness of truth is love. 1133. A wise seeker asks, if my own way is so right, how come I feel so wrong? 1134. For good or bad, every teacher teaches his own nature to his students. 1135. Think of everything you know, then realize it has nothing in common with this higher wisdom. 1136. Placing the problem outside of ourselves is like saying that the sour fruit is independent of the tree. 1137. While words are used to explain the true path, allow your perception to travel beyond mere words. 1138. One small part of a person does not feel attacked by truth, so let offered truth fall on that right part. 1139. When seeing a clock with the wrong time, we want to correct it, which is similar to the inner urge. 1140. Remember, destructive falsehood is an expert in disguising itself as constructive truth. Look deeper into facts. 1141. Always try to see more in a fact you think you already understand. 1142. Being a danger to oneself simply consists of taking harmful ideas as helpful. 1143. When feeling the need for something, a right request is, "May I please have more light?" 1144. Do not fear to see your mechanical behavior, for you are opening the door to conscious action. 1145. What you will finally find will be something totally unlike anything known before. 1146. Self-awareness supplies a whole view of life, while self-centeredness is a wall which blocks the view. 1147. When really seeing self-centeredness as self-centeredness, its blocking wall begins to crumble. 1148. We contact truth at the risk of losing our familiar and beloved tears. 1149. Falsehood's first task is to betray you, and its second task is to make you think it is helping you. 1150. We can do good for ourselves only when knowing the nature of goodness, and it does not include self-strain. 1151. The dull ache felt while performing exciting activities is a voice urging you to break out of false happiness. 1152. If you would sacrifice a rock for a ruby, then sacrifice what you now have for what you can have. 1153. Be aware of how your own attitudes and actions attract uncomfortable situations, for that will help end them. 1154. Abandon anything that tries to take your mind away from your great task of self-union. 1155. Be aware that you do not want to do what you know you must do, for that will help you do it. 1156. One way to think in a new and healthy way is to dare to start doing it. 1157. Look within is both the most helpful and most frightening advice a beginner can hear. 1158. Truth asks us to end our false ideas about existence so that it can give us the true existence we really desire. 1159. Learn the secret of using unhappy events to realize your actual freedom from unhappy events. 1160. See the difference between a harmful emotion, such as envy, and a healthy feeling, such as a yearning for self-wholeness. Your right daily start. 1161. Start the day by reminding yourself, my aim today is to shake off my unconscious psychic sleep. 1162. Be grateful that the rightness of an awakened man will not accept the wrongness of a sleeping man. 1163. The deeper you descend within yourself, the higher you ascend within yourself. 1164. Right rebellion is to cease to obey the deceitful dictators within ourselves. 1165. When feeling helpless, there is a great power in not turning to the usual sources of aid. 1166. Trying to convince ourselves that we are not deceived is a good way to remain deceived. 1167. The only way to be your own best friend is to stop believing you already are. 1168. We can be truly sensible and truly practical, and then we do not go wrong. 1169. Each time we decline to place another person under fear, we release ourselves from fear. 1170. Using the word love does not make anyone loving, any more than saying the word tulip turns you into that flower. 1171. To uplift your treatment by others, uplift your treatment of yourself. 1172. We pay a heavy price for lack of self-knowledge, even though unaware of the dreadful price. 1173. We can find 1,000 excuses for not facing ourselves as we really are, and each one guarantees our secret anguish. 1174. Just to see how we endlessly repeat our self-damaging behavior is a small but definite light along the path. 1175. An awakened teacher knows much more about his students than his students realize. 1176. By performing the same right actions that other people have performed, you can win the same real rewards they have won. 1177. We have learned the limits of ourselves, which means we must now unlearn them. 1178. Being tolerant of life-robbing ideas is like tolerating a gang of ruthless bandits. 1179. If life is difficult, it is simply because the person has not corrected his difficult self. 1180. Awareness of weakness attracts a new force, which will be strong for you. How to make it. 1181. Always take one more inner step than you want to take, and you will make it. 1182. Bravely see how you really feel about something, which may be the opposite of what you think you feel. 1183. Inner unity starts by seeing the difference between what we say and what we really feel. 1184. The less you run away from yourself, the sooner you will have a self with whom to live in ease. 1185. Truth leaves the door wide open for everyone, but it does politely inform, please leave your junk outside. 1186. Place a wish to understand between you and what happens to you, and understanding will come. 1187. Personal problems are solved by personal rightness, never by asking others for something. 1188. What would you give for a life in which you had no need to plead with anyone for anything? 1189. There is a right way to escape from destructive people, and you are now learning it. 1190. The truly valuable part of a human being is the part by which he sees through himself. 1191. We really understand a spiritual principle when it acts spontaneously in our place. 1192. Our task is not to change our life scenery, but to lift the mental fog that distorts its charm. 1193. The practice of suspending impulsive judgment permits the entrance of higher explanations. 1194. It is not only good, but absolutely necessary to begin to doubt the power of the artificial self. 1195. Your recovered rightness always knows how to handle the wrongness of other people. 1196. Rightness does not arise from the habitual mind, but from cosmic comprehension. 1197. Great secrets come to those who sacrifice concealed conceit in order to obtain them. 1198. Take one attitude that you sense is wrong for you and deliberately drop it 12 times a day. 1199. The upward path begins with a clear conviction that there is no substitute whatsoever for truth. 1200. Concentrate everything you have into the enjoyable attainment of inner success. Chapter 13. Replace the nervous with the natural. A small child was afraid of the dark, so for several nights in a row his father led him by the hand into the darkness, explaining the surrounding conditions. These are simply shadows, not monsters, the father informed, and that sound is simply the wind passing through the trees. With understanding, the child's fear vanished. Here is an example of how understanding replaces uncertainty. Have you ever found yourself arguing with yourself over a problem? Self-insight would show that we gain a false and wasteful thrill over the very argument itself. That insight makes us want to stop, after which a calm mind sees the solution to the problem. You need never feel yourself too frail to obtain self-command, and you need never feel disqualified by past or present wrongdoing. All you need is to start now, work now, persist now. Read and feel the brilliant beauty in these words of Frenchman François Fenelon. Never let us be discouraged with ourselves. It is not when we are conscious of our faults that we are the most wicked. On the contrary, we are less so. We see by a brighter light, and let us remember for our consolation that we never perceive our sins until we begin to cure them. The following lessons show how your recovered powers of naturalness diminish and dismiss nervousness once and for all. Replace the nervous with the natural. 1201. These teachings help you to turn the pressures of life into forces for self-healing. 1202. Help heal yourself right now by realizing that anxiety is simply a misuse of life energy. 1203. If you do not know how to explain life, you need only relax and let true life explain itself to you. 1204. How your world will brighten if only you will release your real nature into it. 1205. An action performed with cosmic naturalness releases right and pleasant feelings. 1206. Truth says to a timid person, "Be as scared as you want when approaching me, but be sure to approach." 1207. A crisis is wasted when it falls on anxiety, instead of on an attempt to use it for new insight. 1208. Ponder whether there might be higher values than the ones now causing so much tension. 1209. One higher value is to follow your own basic intelligence, free from social influence. 1210. Reveal yourself to yourself, and regardless of what you see, continue to walk forward on the path. 1211. Realize that truth is feared at first, for this insight helps to end this false fear. 1212. Seeing and dissolving self-contradictions is one of the healthiest tasks anyone can perform. 1213. You win back your natural self by seeing the difference between it and the artificial self. 1214. Tension in any situation means that the artificial self is present, not your real nature. 1215. Natural responses to life are as close as your willingness to detect and drop unnatural responses. 1216. Defensive weakness increases it, but an effort to see unawareness as its cause decreases it. 1217. Never argue with wrongness in yourself or others, but simply walk away in perfect freedom. 1218. Inform yourself that anxiety is a hoax committed by mental imps who can be exposed and dismissed. 1219. Ordinary life puts pressure on you, so why not seek the extraordinary life having no pressure? 1220. A chief feature of the human jungle is tense unnaturalness, which is called natural. Confusion has no power. 1221. Confusion has no real power, so continue to study these lessons in spite of all confusions. 1222. Most people react wrongly to rescue, but if you take away my suffering, who will I be? 1223. One day you will have the relief of not needing to anxiously ask who you are. 1224. Surface personality always pretends it is not surface personality, which is why it is always so nervous. 1225. See someone trying to act right without being right, and you see a nervous wreck. 1226. The natural is obtained after a clear recognition of the unnatural causes us to drop it. 1227. Remember that even a brief glimpse into self-deception allows a ray of real light to reach you. 1228. Trembling through life is unnecessary because its cause, which is unawareness, is unnecessary. 1229. One way to remain anxious is to pretend to understand human nature. 1230. Some people find false pleasure in being upset, but a sincere seeker will have nothing to do with this. 1231. When you are not who you used to be, you will not suffer from what you used to suffer to. 1232. The mind obeys rightly when obeying its present natural freedom, instead of submitting to past influences. 1233. Be bold in departing from the familiar, but dark, for that leads to the new and the light. 1234. A willingness to be wrong is not the same as saying or imagining we are willing to be wrong. 1235. The sure cure for every anxiety is to permit cosmic truth to be your only authority. 1236. Real understanding, life-lifting understanding, never contains negative feelings of any kind. 1237. Society is unnatural, so we attain the truly natural by not imitating society. 1238. Nervousness is a state suffered by those who do not know, but who pretend that they do know. 1239. Truth does not see you as a helpless victim of life, so why not see yourself that way? 1240. Trying to claim life as a personal possession and trying to grab a handful of air are equally futile. How to end distress. 1241. Let your cosmic nature understand a distressing condition, and it will cease to be a distress. 1242. Do not believe in emotions which try to make you feel alone and abandoned. 1243. Only your real nature knows when to be serious and when to be lighthearted, so let it instruct you. 1244. The more you struggle rightly with these ideas, the less you struggle wrongly with life. 1245. Does it make sense to continue to trust the usual ways of thinking which have betrayed us for so long? 1246. Fear fades by seeing that fear of the world is actually fear of the artificial self. 1247. Only the cosmic view can end the heartache and confusion of the human view. 1248. Bitterness is a burden which is lifted by the constant application of these higher facts. 1249. It is delightful to see that the rules you are asked to follow are the pleasant rules of your own free nature. 1250. Stop trying to force a solution, and you will happily feel the arrival of the solution. 1251. We fall down for no other reason than our habit of leaning on nothing, which we call something. 1252. There is such a thing as natural understanding, which appears spontaneously when artificiality fades. 1253. We suffer to the exact degree that we wish to hear lies instead of facts. 1254. See the difference between submitting to a belief and submitting to pure truth, and you will be different. 1255. Nervousness is a result of wrongly believing that we have a separate self to protect. 1256. Aim for that wonderful inner state which has no need to be on tense guard against anything. 1257. Be real, for then you are not the victim of the artificiality of other people. 1258. One reward of mental clarity is the absence of a strained attempt to prove that others are wrong. 1259. As a valuable test, notice that a right action will not include agitated and frightened feelings, while a wrong action will always contain these self-harming states. 1260. The fear that other people may see through us is conquered by courageously seeing through ourselves. Your doubts will end. 1261. The unnatural self always doubts itself, so when it fades through self-insight, doubt also fades. 1262. Everyone burdened with mechanical religion wishes he could toss it off and live naturally. 1263. Let your mind be an alert sentry at the gate, which prevents enemy ideas from slipping inside. 1264. A free human being cannot be insulted, because it never occurs to him that he is. 1265. The sure way to conquer confusions along the path is to continue to walk forward while surrounded by them. 1266. Each time you feel overwhelmed by life, you should remind yourself that the feeling is unnecessary. 1267. The real person is one who does not do damage while calling it love, or generosity, or community, or cooperation. 1268. Cosmic naturalness keeps you in calm command when everyone else dashes around in dangerous panic. 1269. We are happily right only when having no strained need to prove it to ourselves or others. 1270. These teachings cause artificial cheerfulness to give way to natural and effortless good cheer. 1271. Study anxiety, and you will find it includes the pointless protection of false ideas. 1272. Whatever you do, do it consciously, then notice how much better you do. 1273. Conceal nervousness and we become its victim, but study nervousness and we become its conqueror. 1274. Letting go of your conditioned self is the same as letting go of your troubles. 1275. Our daily collisions are made up of insistences that fantasies are facts. 1276. Absorbed truth is wherever you are, so why be nervous wherever you are? 1277. When living rightly, we no longer feel like a keg of dynamite, which an outside spark can explode. 1278. Nothing is more useless than to worry and wonder what other people think about you. 1279. Instead of thinking of what others think about you, think of the relief of not needing to think such thoughts. 1280. Honest inner action causes tension and nervousness to lose its hold on us. Be natural and be restful. 1281. Your real nature is very restful because it never needs to promote or protect itself. 1282. Justifying anger does not reduce by 1 ounce the weight the anger has placed upon the justifier. 1283. Nervousness is conquered by making it conscious, and a first step in that is to set aside a pretense of calmness. 1284. Internal conflict disappears as we cease to obtain a false pleasure from it. 1285. Feeling helpless is the result of trying to make the invented personality do the work of true being. 1286. You possess physical objects rightly when you win or lose them with the same inner poise. 1287. Your real nature never struggles for an answer, for its very nature is the whole answer, just as an eagle naturally understands the nature of an eagle. 1288. These teachings purify the emotions, making them natural powers for life command. 1289. The man who believes he is anxious over something will one day see with great astonishment that he was anxious over nothing. 1290. Nervousness fades away by itself as we cease to insist that our trash is a treasure. 1291. What is real in you will make itself known to the exact degree that you invite it. 1292. The beauty of natural living appears as we gladly abandon the unconscious roles we are playing. 1293. Nothing condemns you but your own mistaken beliefs, and they can be replaced with truth. 1294. Develop the small part of you that knows very well the folly of following shaky society. 1295. The only world in which a man is really at war with is the world within his own psychic system. 1296. Restlessness has a cure which is found only in the temple of cosmic knowledge. 1297. Having heard that you must break out of yourself, spend your days in understanding and doing it. 1298. Association with an awkward man provides both a map for the journey and courage for traveling. 1299. Dropping unnatural behavior is at first a shock, and then a revelation, and then a prize. 1300. Your real nature is strengthened and refreshed each time you try to understand a spiritual lesson. Chapter 14. Give new meaning and purpose to life. Seeking a sunken treasure ship, a diver swam through dark waters off the coast of an island in the West Indies. For a while he saw only the familiar scenes of rocks and sand, but suddenly he glimpsed an unfamiliar shape, something not part of the usual scene. It proved to be the faint outlines of the treasure ship. Inner treasure consists of something not yet familiar, of something totally new to the mind. A new mind creates a new life. The treasure which gives real meaning and purpose to our days can be found because it exists. It exists within everyone, but we need a method for its recovery. The next paragraph explains a classic method taught over the centuries by the great teachers and wise men. Slow down. That is the secret method for mental clarity. Deliberately slow down the pace of your thoughts, feelings, words, reactions, and other activities. At first you will feel a protesting shock, for the swift momentum of your usual way does not want to cooperate. Your very awareness of this resistance is a good lesson in itself. Just ignore the protests of your habitual nature and continue to slow down. If catching yourself speeding up, slow down again. It is like tugging back on the reins of rushing horses. As you proceed with this chapter, slow down your listening and thinking a little bit. Notice the curious feeling it awakens. You might even want to adjust the playback on the video to be at a slower speed, if this makes things easier. That curious feeling is the door to a life rich with new meaning. Give new meaning and purpose to life. 1301. The purpose of life is to lose delusions about ourselves and to find God, truth, reality. 1302. The moment we stop calling a meaningless life meaningful, we begin to find the meaningful. 1303. Ponder and review the inspiring fact that life can be seen with a totally fresh viewpoint. 1304. The urge for a new life is right, but remember that this newness must be mental, inward, spiritual, and simple. 1305. These teachings are the astounding answers to anyone who is tired of being who he or she is now. 1306. The treasure map consists of right thoughts and honest feelings, which finally lead to the treasure itself. 1307. Awareness of how we fear the truth aids in rejecting the fear and accepting the truth. 1308. You can choose what is truly good for you, and even a small right choice has great power. 1309. We are teachable when permitting the present way to reveal the urgent need for the new way. 1310. One small attempt to understand the inner world will do more for us than 1,000 books or lectures. 1311. Darkness and wrongness are simply unconscious states which vanish in the light of consciousness. 1312. A real seeker is one who senses that the world can only pretend to fill his emptiness. 1313. Awareness of the emptiness of our lives awakens energy for finding new meaning in reality. 1314. You have something much better to do with your life than to yield it to secret despair. 1315. The much better thing you have to do is to let cosmic light banish the darkness. 1316. Feeling emotional pain simply means you believe that the pain is you, which it is not. 1317. See emotional pain as a foreign invader which tries to deceive you into thinking it has power over you. 1318. Listen carefully to these facts, and one day you will suddenly hear and understand something for the first time that you believed you had always understood. 1319. Truth wants to break through, tries to break through, needing only our affectionate welcome. 1320. Inner tasks which make dim sense at the start finally become the only sensible tasks we have. True love. 1321. When doing something your essence says is right, you are in love in the right way. 1322. Mechanical action returns a false reward, while the reward of conscious action is real. 1323. Practice at listening to your inner self, and after hearing many errors, you will finally hear rightness. 1324. Your inner light alone can supply a life meaning which does not change every day. 1325. The journey goes forward with ease simply by traveling on while never asking, how far is it? 1326. Suffering starts to fade the moment we become aware of our peculiar fondness for it. 1327. Recall unhappy events in your life, then remember that a new self will prevent their repetition. 1328. If you would rather be yourself, you are doing well by listening to these words. 1329. The persistent collection of self-knowledge is part of true spiritual work. 1330. It is a wonderful feeling to begin to see that you need not react to life in the usual doubtful ways. 1331. Let these principles make you think. Think, for example, that a totally new way exists. 1332. When puzzled, just remember that all answers reside on the inner mountain peak. 1333. The part of you that wants to escape the jungle is not confused. Indeed, it is a preliminary power for clarity. 1334. A strong feeling that you are going nowhere in life can start you going somewhere. 1335. The very fact that you do not want to continue with your present ways is a valuable message to be heeded. 1336. A first step to know the truth is to know the truth mentally, while a second step is to be the truth cosmically. 1337. The desire to appear right must yield to the yearning to be right. 1338. To value true spiritual lessons and to value your life rightly are the same thing. 1339. These teachings are necessary simply because millions of people cry more than they show. 1340. Give in to the urge to discover and dissolve an inner source of anxiety. Exploration reveals meaning. 1341. We fear to explore the meaning of life for fear there may not be one, but exploration alone reveals real meaning. 1342. Turn your vision toward the other land, for that will arouse your urge to travel toward it. 1343. We are kept ill by society's definition of quality, for only cosmic quality can cure us. 1344. Whatever needs to fall away from your life will do so of itself as self-knowledge advances. 1345. If you want to follow powerful advice, follow. Make yourself known to yourself. 1346. Yearn to be your own judge between right and wrong, and the inner instructor will teach you. 1347. Wrongness is defined as anything out of harmony with your authentic nature. 1348. Rightness is defined as anything which is in tune with who you really are. 1349. Make it your supreme aim to remove everything that blocks remembrance of your true self. 1350. Try to see, for in the higher world, seeing is the same as possessing. 1351. You will advance faster by always giving yourself a bit more inner work than you want to do. 1352. In moments of earnestness, a few people ask, honestly now, what real rewards does society have for me? 1353. Tell yourself that real escape is toward celestial light and never toward anything else. 1354. You will know who you are when your memory no longer describes you. 1355. When learning how to really live, we no longer wonder about the purpose of life. 1356. It is better to know sooner instead of later, so why delay the esoteric expedition? 1357. The secret door opens as we learn to listen to something other than our habitual and mechanical nature. 1358. Each time we lower our impulse to impress other people, we raise our capacity for real happiness. 1359. A person with a right aim is one who aims to deliver himself from himself. 1360. The reason you should win this new way is because it will make you happier than the old way. Your successful day. 1361. Every day that you attempt to see things as they are in truth is a supremely successful day. 1362. By knowing the kind of person you actually are, you also know why your life happens as it does. 1363. By seeing the unimportance of what we call important, we see the importance of what we call unimportant. 1364. What is truly important is to relax a frantic mind to permit the entrance of celestial guidance. 1365. See the difference between mechanical thinking and consciousness, and you are a new person. 1366. Earnestly yearn to become a different kind of person, for then everything can be done for you. 1367. Cease to pretend that the nightmare is a beautiful dream, and life takes on a new meaning. 1368. Parts of us fight against inner awakening, which means we must detect and reject them. 1369. Knowledge of the invisible mental world is essential, for it shapes the physical world. 1370. The vague emptiness felt by a person can be followed all the way to abundance. 1371. You can either build your own world or you can accept the one handed to you by society. So which do you really want? 1372. Reliance upon the truth within begins by no longer relying on the words of other people. 1373. When captured by annoying thoughts, just realize you have much higher things for your attention. 1374. The orchard is there, ready for the harvest. But a harvester is needed. 1375. People fear that truth wants to deny them thrills, when in fact truth wishes to supply a new and unique feeling having no reaction of emptiness. 1376. Most busy activities are frantic evasions of the real business of facing and finding oneself. 1377. Fear mounts up to become terror, just before you give up and break through to the new land. 1378. A real hero is someone who is trying to learn what it means to live rightly. 1379. Anyone who really wants to change inner conditions needs only to study and practice these esoteric teachings. 1380. It is good to see your inability to handle a crisis, for now you can go beyond yourself to cosmic competence. Obtain cosmic gems. 1381. Fill the inner emptiness with cosmic gems, not with society's follies, for gems alone can fill the emptiness. 1382. Dare to depart from self-concern in even a small way, and you will feel the warmth of cosmic sunshine. 1383. The evidence of the rightness of these teachings will be seen in your own transformed nature. 1384. This training helps you to not be careless and wasteful with your life. 1385. Instead of being aggressive toward a difficulty, be quiet before it and notice the new feeling. 1386. A new life exists, and it exists for you. So what will you do with that wonderful fact? 1387. Anyone who does not like living with himself should realize the existence of a new and enjoyable self. 1388. The problem of living with our negative nature is solved by inviting our celestial nature. 1389. Cosmic principles are the wings with which we fly to a totally new kind of life success. 1390. Learn to see what you cannot now see, and you will live what you cannot now live. 1391. Speed the day when your great passion in life is to shake yourself awake. 1392. Let everything that happens to you today contribute to your great goal of inner illumination. 1393. The one way to understand the earthly is to first understand the heavenly. 1394. By returning to where we should be, we effortlessly have what we should have. 1395. Say with feeling, I want to know, and you will be heard instantly and answered helpfully. 1396. The real is the essential, for the real part of a man does not want to hurt himself or others. 1397. Life can be loved only when truly understood, so now you have the perfect reason for attaining understanding. 1398. To exchange bubbles for pearls, we must first be aware that bubbles are bubbles. 1399. Hear these facts with the depths of your being, not merely with the surface mind. 1400. Let go, and let yourself be drawn toward the cosmic castle that is not part of this world. Chapter 15. Your healthy life outside the jungle. An ambitious king pleaded with his geographers to discover a new land for conquest. The famous geographers failed, but an obscure scholar succeeded. The scholar told the monarch about the inner kingdom. Astonished and pleased, the king turned toward self-conquest. Genuine and permanent satisfaction comes as we turn toward and discover the inner kingdom. Like that enlightened monarch, we must wish to venture beyond the visible world we may now take as the only world. The very wish is energy expended in the right direction. Once catching our first glimpse of a greater world, we no longer wish to remain within the old boundaries. We are urged onward by something higher than ourselves. This is an inspiring urge we should follow gladly. The world of self-newness is what you really want. You can sense why this is so. It is the answer to all questions and the solution to all difficulties. So seek it now. Let nothing, absolutely nothing, stand in the way of your attainment. Remember, whatever may now look like an insurmountable obstacle will one day be seen as nothing. Prove all this to yourself. It's possible. It can be done. You can do it. When finishing this chapter, return to the beginning of the book. Listen to it again. Be happily receptive. Notice how thoughts about these principles are now joined by pleasant emotions. Now you are feeling the truth that makes you free. Let those feelings flow freely. Now you are on the way, at last. Your healthy life outside the jungle. 1401. What a curious and pleasant and healthy experience to be charmed by truth. 1402. Your opportunity to win self-newness is right now, so go after it right now. 1403. Firmness with yourself will be rewarded with the feeling that you have done something healthy. 1404. A wise seeker firmly informs his own fantasies that he will no longer tolerate them. 1405. If you only could see that a disastrous choice in the past has no hold on you today. 1406. You can prevent one error from creating a second error by seeing the real cause of the first error. 1407. Acceptance by God, truth, reality, simply means to see the absence of separation in the first place. 1408. Everything is all right with truth, and always will be right. 1409. Join yourself with truth, and everything is all right, and always will be right. 1410. The comprehension that starts with a faint glow will one day become a bright blaze of guiding light. 1411. Depression is nothing more than a cunning hoax played upon a sleeping mind, which awakening can expose. 1412. If depressed, listen to several ideas in this book, for that can weaken the false power of depression. 1413. The burdens imposed by ordinary life are lifted the moment we want nothing more to do with ordinary life. 1414. Action and speech arising from inner trueness will always be calm, clear, right, attractive. 1415. The truly good cannot be lost, so since only the harmful can be lost, lose it today. 1416. To learn from an experience means to take it consciously, which frees us of it. 1417. The miracle of self-healing occurs when the inner patient yields to the inner physician. 1418. Circumstances are conquered simply by having no egotistical need to conquer them. 1419. When you cannot think your way out of a problem, let go and let a higher power succeed for you. 1420. Books that tell the truth become very attractive to people who really want the truth. You will reach home. 1421. Keep your eyes on the light ahead, no matter how dim it may be, and you will arrive home. 1422. We are asked to go forward, not with confidence or understanding, but simply to go forward. 1423. Uplift yourself by choosing to understand something instead of fighting it. 1424. Declare, I choose to understand, and let the energy in this right statement work for you. 1425. Self-command, or self-chaos, is the simple test of whether or not we are living with our true self. 1426. The physical view is sometimes beautiful, but the cosmic view is always majestic. 1427. Can anyone really straighten out his life without first straightening himself? 1428. The moment you see what it means to rise above ordinary thought, you are free. 1429. Discovering cosmic truth is like entering an immense orchard, having every variety of needed and healthy fruit available. 1430. One healthy shock is to see that truth will not let us get away with our usual evasions. 1431. Make 50 mistakes a day if necessary, but after each one, remember your aim, to escape the jungle. 1432. The true way of knowing yourself includes neither self-praise nor self-blame, but only a wise silence. 1433. Anyone who is not a problem to himself does not find other people to be a problem to him. 1434. What a man calls his world does not exist, but happily, the world certainly exists. 1435. Just as surely as distress must follow self-deceit, healing must follow self-honesty. 1436. If you wish a new and lasting good feeling, unify yourself, for self-unity always feels good. 1437. What surface personality sees as unfair is seen as nothing by your awakened essence. 1438. Something within that is not the usual you knows all the answers unknown by the usual you. 1439. Insight is growing when you detect the difference between human cleverness and cosmic wisdom. 1440. If you wish to overcome the exterior world, you need only triumph in the interior world. A refreshing atmosphere. 1441. There is a healthy and refreshing atmosphere in a group of people who meet to really wake up. 1442. Cosmic consciousness creates a right consistency, consistent wisdom, strength, gentleness. 1443. Remember, you are not trying to repair the old psychic house, but building a totally new mansion. 1444. Your real strength does not reside on the level of ordinary thoughts, but is an expression of the cosmic whole. 1445. A decision made by a confused self will only make things worse, so seek self-clarity. 1446. Real happiness consists of a harmony between all the parts of your nature, such as feelings harmonizing with words, or thoughts harmonizing with actions. 1447. There is no boredom along the cosmic path, for every step provides new excitements and refreshments. 1448. Remember that cosmic excitements and refreshments are totally different from previous experiences. 1449. A weary seeker was told by a wise man, replace unconscious fighting with conscious listening. 1450. Become aware of how habitual thought acts as a barrier to fresh and inspiring impressions. 1451. Each time a man excuses weakness in himself, he lowers the quality of life in the entire world. 1452. Each time a man seeks inner strength, he raises the quality of life in the entire world. 1453. Now that you have facts about self-awakening, go on to the experience. 1454. You can carry this quiet and secret world with you right in the midst of the noisy world. 1455. Your aim is to know that these teachings are right, not because someone else says so, but because they have changed you into a new kind of human being. 1456. Discouragement fades by seeing that higher forces within can do what lower forces cannot do. 1457. Learn to spend your thoughts as profitably as you now try to spend your money. 1458. When you react wrongly, remind yourself, I can do better than that the next time. 1459. The supremely wise reason for studying the self is to end the troubles it causes. 1460. Self-concern is banished by seeing that we have a completely different self than we imagined. Your good news. 1461. Hear the good news that we can stop buying bad dreams and invest our lives in real wealth. 1462. The only escape we need is to escape from delusions about ourselves. 1463. As a summary, you can say that your cosmic aim is to remember who you really are. 1464. Let self-change through self-knowledge be one of your favorite quotations. 1465. A whole mind can switch from the heavenly to the earthly and back again with quiet ease. 1466. One day you will truly go your own way, knowing from yourself that the world has nothing for you. 1467. Whoever admits even one small confusion in himself has given the world a gift greater than 1,000 rubies. 1468. The supreme daring which changes everything is to dare to step outside of yourself. 1469. Step outside of yourself right now by not assuming that your life must remain as it is. 1470. Nothing real prevents your return to your cosmic homeland, so let nothing prevent it. 1471. Collecting right ideas is great, but remembering to act on them and from them is tremendous. 1472. Save yourself from yourself, then see whether you need to be saved by or from anyone else. 1473. Become your own healthy atmosphere, for then a noisy office is your own quiet home. 1474. It is the retreat into the familiar that prevents an advance into the healing. 1475. Real happiness depends upon the amount of the usual self we do not live from. 1476. Rescuing truth announces its presence, then waits to see what people will do with it. 1477. The firmness of an authentic teacher is a lofty kind of compassion. 1478. A wise student says, now that I have heard that fact, I will climb until understanding it. 1479. Never fear to deliberately walk through dark places, for that is how you reach the light on the other side. 1480. One by one the lights go on until we see astonishing sights we never before knew existed. Use these joyful reminders. 1481. You have simply forgotten your true identity, but these facts are cheerful reminders. 1482. To see the truly new beyond the self, we must not fearfully cling to the self. 1483. See that you are not your ideas about yourself, and you will finally see who you really are. 1484. It is not fearful to be a nobody, for fear arises only when falsely believing we must be important. 1485. If conditions were new, you would not be new, but if you were new, conditions would be new. 1486. There is a power which can think and live for us, far better than we can think and live for ourselves. 1487. The real part of you can reject a negative atmosphere just as easily as a stone wall rejects a breeze. 1488. If you want to know what to do, just do what is right and ignore the consequences. 1489. Every fact of this cosmic science is far more important than appears on the surface, so dig deeply for richer rewards. 1490. With your consent, these ideas will give you different and higher feelings toward yourself. 1491. One day you will look back to the kind of world you used to live in and be very glad you no longer do. 1492. When finally realizing that confusion cannot understand confusion, the mind rises to clear comprehension. 1493. When conditions are wrong, but you are right, everything is all right. 1494. Seeing the necessity for self-insight, not assuming we already have it, is a sign of real intelligence. 1495. Rise above mere knowledge to a higher level of being, for that is where self-command exists. 1496. Remember the feeling of rightness in these ideas, for remembrance is power for progress. 1497. Know that you are not seeking comfort, but understanding, and in understanding, there is true comfort. 1498. Call anything good which enables you to see more today than you saw yesterday. 1499. Permit these ideas to change you internally, and watch how you delightfully value them more and more. 1500. The lamp has been placed before you, so take it as your own guiding light from this day on. This concludes 1500 Ways to Escape the Human Jungle, written by Vernon Howard and read by ALIO Voices. Wishing you all the best along your journeys of the self.